Hello, everybody. I hope that, well, like us here at CMI, you've all had an amazing and wondrous work week. So this week was our annual Content Marketing World event, and in a word, it was spectacular. It was great to have both the feeling like everything was brand new, a new city, new formats, new voices, new insights, but at the same time, it was like it's always has been, the homecoming that it always feels like. There were some amazing takeaways, and I'd like you to hear about them. Well, what is this? Well, this is 5 minutes of what you need to lead in marketing. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with the Content and Marketing Strategy News. It is what's new, but most importantly, you know the drill. It's what's important in our world of marketing. And for the best and best practices, head on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com. So this week was our annual Content Marketing World event, and it was just an amazing, wonderful celebration of all things content and marketing in our nation's capital. But it was more than just the new city that seemed fresh and lively and just wonderful. There were some incredible takeaways from the amazing speakers there that shared their ideas, their stories, their freshest insights about our beloved practice that we've all come to love so much. Now, I kicked things off on Wednesday, and what I tried to do there was to put a lens on where we are in 2023 and coming into 2024 with all the disruptions that we've seen this year: AI, automation, the up and down feeling of the economy, the state of marketing innovation. And my main theme, well, content marketing is now marketing. It is what marketing is becoming. It is no longer a weird little disruptive innovation, and it's no longer something that's the weird experiment happening in the back room with a tiger team experimenting with blogs or resource centers or thought leadership. Content marketing is now creating a full-scale media operation as part of your modern marketing operation. What does that mean? Well, it means that the business must now recognize the changing roles, the changing responsibilities that are being performed by classic marketing professionals. The activities that marketers work on now that are related to content marketing, they're not just the side job or when you have time job or the activities that happen over an experimental tiger team. No, they are a core piece of our entire business strategy. That was a sentiment that was also truly put into amazing context by Benny Johnson, the CEO of the American Marketing Association. His keynote reminded us that we shouldn't forget that we need to evolve as we are so focused on our day-to-day activities, we sometimes forget to do that. He reminded us that our ability to stay agile, learn, and continuously develop our skill set is the most important part of our roles as marketers. And of course, speaking of evolved, well, two of the OGs of content marketing is Ann Handley and, of course, Andrew Davis. And they simply gave us, well, the coolest way to give us the straight dope of what content marketing is in 2023, sort of Jeopardy style of an Ask Me Anything, if you'd like. And it was really them on stage together for the first time, by the way, this town hall of answering these questions and generally showing off their awesomeness and giving us some cool insights into what content marketing really is. From there, and a workshop perspective, an incredible amount of events to choose from, but my favorite might have to be, and I'm biased this way, my partner in business crime, Kathy McKnight, who gave a technology masterclass on how to sanely put together the needs you have for the technology that you may not have. And my good old friend, Michael Brenner, well, he did a deep dive workshop that covers some of the most important aspects of evolving your content marketing strategy. It's really, how do you document what you're doing? Every single year, our research finds that this is the biggest gap between those that are successful with content marketing and those that aren't. But as Michael pointed out, and I mentioned at the top of this piece even, it's not just putting the words into a PowerPoint or a Word doc. It's about how you actually bring the specific roles and responsibilities of content marketing to the actual job descriptions, the actual responsibilities, the standards, the guidelines, the playbooks. That's what's meant by documentation. It's making your evolution a documented process. And of course, there were too many sessions to really cover here in any great depth. But as you might expect, AI was front and center this year. Kathy McPhillips from the Marketing Artificial Intelligence Institute, she gave a great talk about how AI has actually impacted her as a marketer and a content marketer, really talking about the implications of such for our teams and for her individually. And Megan Keeney Anderson from Jasper and Jessica Reroff from VMware, well, they talked about how actually moving AI into the marketing team structure can actually work. A pragmatic and useful talk about generative AI. And of course, I can't not finish without mentioning the amazing Elizabeth Banks, the actor, producer, director, whose recent comedy thriller Cocaine Bear, I mean, come on now, it's Cocaine Bear, is just a wonderful way to spend a couple of hours. Her interview talked through her career as well as the thoughts of the current state of the industry of content and had some really surprisingly meaningful and evolved practical takeaways. Well, there's going to be a lot here for those of you who were there to rewatch and some who weren't there actually to get your fill of. My overall takeaway, well, the theme of the conference was evolve, of course, and there was so much of it here. Even the conference itself is, evolved. It's not that it's necessarily better than it's been in previous states in years past, but it was different. It was markedly different in just about every way. It was, in a word, evolved. It's such a perfect metaphor for our practice of content marketing and where it is as we come into 2024. We can relish the last 10 years of content marketing as a side practice, an innovative, sometimes weird, sometimes disruptive approach to marketing that many of our leaders didn't quite understand and that would provide the odd, interesting case study for us to exponentially help optimize campaign-based marketing. But now it's different. While we love what we did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, we're now evolved. Content marketing is a core piece of a business strategy. It's not just operating like a media company, helping the occasional marketing campaign get slightly more engaging, authentic, or valuable. It's a strategic business operation. It is marketing. It's operating as a media company with all the activities, operations, measurements, skills, responsibilities that operating as a media company requires. It is evolved. If you got some FOMO or were there, let me know, won't you? There will be an on-demand version of this, and I want you to get all of those kinds of insights as well. And sometimes, the weird news is, for 2 weeks in a row, it's about us. But hopefully, this is what you need to lead in marketing. And until I see you next week with our regular news segment, remember, until then, it's your story to tell. Tell it well, and I'll see you next week.